Hi, my name is Mallory Fusella. I'm 28 years old and I've been in Los Angeles for about 4 years now. I moved out here with a children's entertainment company. We did children's shows at elementary schools. I performed for about 3,000 kids a week, doing yo-yo tricks, magic tricks, and singing. And the show's concept was inspiring kids to become their best champion self. So I got to travel the world, meet kids all over the world, and inspire kids from all over to become the best version of themselves that I know they can be, and how they can believe in themselves. And so since that tour ended, I've been doing a lot of writing and a lot of stand-up and acting. And so my pitch for you here today is I would say mini-series dramedy titled That's My Time. It follows the story of a female comedian, Colette Lovett. She lives in Los Angeles doing stand-up. She's starting to get some notoriety, but she hasn't quite broken through yet. So we get to see her day jobs and her messy relationships. And we see her get a call from her mom asking her to come back to the East Coast for a little bit to help her grandfather, Marvin, move into his retirement home. And so Colette's grandfather lost his wife. Colette didn't go to her grandmother's funeral, and so there's some familial guilt there. And so really the only reason she decides to go to the East Coast is because she doesn't want to get written out of the will. So her goal when she gets there is the sooner I get him into this pine forest home, the sooner I can get back to my life in LA. And so her and her grandpa have a strange relationship. They don't really speak. She's trying to be encouraging about, the poetry reading at 3 p.m. and, trying to find some light in this kind of depressing home. And so eventually she sees him really start to break down over the loss of his wife and, this last chapter of his life. So she suggests that he come with her to watch her do a stand-up set at an open mic she found. And so she takes him to a bar and she does a set, and he is very mortified. He's humiliated and disgusted almost with the way that Colette, his granddaughter, speaks on stage. And so Colette has to explain that, being a female in a very male-dominated world is difficult, and this is what's hard for me. And so she tries to explain it, but generationally, it doesn't work. So, now even more motive for her to get him in so she can get out of there. The next day is supposed to be her last day. Her grandfather overhears Colette having a conversation with her manager, and Colette's manager is like, why don't you do the road? I will book some shows for you. You can drive from the East Coast to the West Coast and just hit a couple of clubs along the way. You'll be back in LA in 2 weeks. No big deal, no skin off your back, and you get to see and perform at some clubs. So Colette's grandfather overhears this, and as depressed as he is, and as much as he didn't really like what she does, he thinks it's a great idea that they go on the road together. So that's how it begins. They start doing shows along, from Philadelphia all the way back to LA. And at one point, after some bonding in the car, Marvin sees, they're at a show, and Marvin sees this very misogynistic male comedian on stage, and he starts heckling him. And a woman in the audience is filming the whole battle between the comedian and Colette's grandfather, and that video ends up going viral. So now at these comedy clubs along the way, people don't really want to see Colette. They want to see her grandfather, Marvin. He starts to become a feminist and starts to open up about the loss of his wife and really, get through grief through comedy. And so by the time they end up in Los Angeles, they've sort of switched roles in a way. She's more in the teaching role, caregiving role, and he essentially achieves her dreams. He gets a late night spot on Kimmel, and she's in the back watching and rooting him on. And so I really like the idea because I think it has a very a wide appeal to a wide range of audiences because of the age difference and because of the subject matter being very much like a family story. And also, you know, identity, becoming your own woman, becoming your own self, and feeling a push and pull from what you were raised with. I love that it's a female narrative in a very, still very male dominated field, and we get to see her experience it with her grandfather, who, you know, has his ideas from his generation. um, so thank you so much for listening, and yeah, thank you.